Update. Brother-in-law's fiancé claims my family never RSVP'd, but I'm the only one without a seat. Original post. This is a throwaway because I'm not quite ready for all of my husband's family to get involved, I think. I'm still reeling and trying to process this, so bear with me. So my brother-in-law is getting married soon. My husband is the best man, and our 4-year-old is the ring bearer. I'm a part-time party planner, so I've been helping plan a small luncheon for the bridal party, immediate family, and a few vendors on the wedding day. So I'm not exactly a fringe guest here. The RSVP deadline was a few weeks ago. I filled out the online form and submitted it the same day the invitation came in the mail, with my husband sitting right next to me. We RSVP'd for the 3 of us, me, my husband, and our son. Easy peasy, right? Well, brother-in-law's fiancé reached out today over text saying we never RSVP'd. Not, hey, I never saw your RSVP, just checking, but straight up, you didn't respond. Which is frustrating on its own, but then she tells us that while my husband and son have seats at the reception, as they were part of her original headcount, I do not. My husband was told I could come early with him to set up the luncheon and stay for the ceremony, but that I would not have a spot at the reception. Let me repeat that. I'm married to the best man, mother of the ring bearer, and helping with wedding day logistics, including connecting sister-in-law with some of my professional contacts. And she somehow decided I just wouldn't be coming, and she never followed up before the RSVP deadline? Just what? I'm torn between feeling hurt, furious, and just flabbergasted. And used. I definitely feel used. At best, this was a sloppy mistake that she's not owning. At worst, it feels like a pointed exclusion, and I'm not sure which stings more. My husband is going to handle the conversation with his brother to figure out what is going on, because I genuinely don't trust myself to be polite and keep the peace. There was no other drama leading up to this that I was aware of. I have a good relationship with my in-laws. So yeah, this is totally out of left field for me and my husband. I would love to hear thoughts, especially from people who have gone through something similar. I don't typically touch weddings with work, so this is all new territory for me as a pseudo-vendor/guest. My husband wants to reach out and talk to his brother first, but I'm so tempted to reach out to my mother-in-law before our usual meetup tomorrow to see if she knows anything. Now for the top comments before reading the updates. You are smart to wait and let Hubs talk to his brother. I'm flabbergasted also. That is freaking nuts. And this is coming from someone who is totally laid back and not someone who usually takes things personally. Just try to take your mind off it and see what Hubs reports. Go from there. I'm usually pretty laid back too. I haven't seen the texts yet by Hubs, called on his lunch break when he saw them, and I have not heard him this angry in a long time. I'm trying to give sister-in-law the benefit of the doubt, but this feels very personal and intentional. Sounds like your son now has other things to do that weekend, and your luncheon should get accidentally canceled. Cancel the luncheon. If you are not welcome at the wedding, there is no need for you to be free labor. I think I'm going to do this no matter what the outcome is. It puts mother-in-law and father-in-law in a bit of a lurch since they're handling the food costs, but I don't know. I know I'm biased because I'm in the middle of it, but I feel like there should be some consequences. Definitely step back. Don't do anything for free. She deserves full consequences for this. Let your husband handle the communication. If your brother-in-law doesn't get it corrected, your husband gets to make his own choice to attend or not. When his wife is being purposefully excluded and your son stays home with you, this is completely unacceptable on your soon-to-be sister-in-law's part. It's actually disgusting that she clarified that you'd still be welcome to set up but not stay. Now for some mini updates. Small update. Husband and brother-in-law are talking now. Brother-in-law wasn't working today and was helping father-in-law with something this evening. When I called mother-in-law, she had brother-in-law call my husband right away. From what mother-in-law and I can hear, we're Snoopy. My husband was muted on brother-in-law's phone, and my contact was deleted. Brother-in-law can't even log into the wedding website, so he can't check to see if our RSVP was there. I'm not sure if I want to become a firecracker myself or get some popcorn as I watch mother-in-law pop off. Mini update 2. Okay, here's the last update for the night. I am tired and a bit overwhelmed by all of your responses. I'm sorry I haven't replied to them all, but I have read most of them. Again, thank you for your advice and just general support during this really weird and upsetting time. Too long didn't read. Brother-in-law didn't know, and now the wedding is up in the air. He's currently staying with mother-in-law and father-in-law to have some space from his fiancée. So, my husband finally got a hold of brother-in-law after I called mother-in-law. No one else knew this was going on. While they were talking, brother-in-law tried logging into their wedding website to see if this was a mistake or misunderstanding, but couldn't log in. So he texted sister-in-law to see if she changed the password, and she just told him to come home instead. This set off 3 things. 1. Brother-in-law ended the call with my husband to call sister-in-law about why she couldn't answer a simple question. 2. Mother-in-law popped off about how dare that woman exclude OP. 3. Mother-in-law and father-in-law popped off on brother-in-law for already living with sister-in-law. They are very religious and traditional, and don't believe that a couple should live together before marriage. My husband and I sympathize with brother-in-law. Brother-in-law and sister-in-law argued over the phone. Apparently, she started claiming that it was an unfortunate glitch, and that it was too late to add another seat now. Then it was that we never jived, and would it really be so bad if I went home early? Plus, I could take our son home with me because he would be tired by then, at 5 p.m. This woman does not know kids, I swear. Then it was that I've always been mean and excluded her from things, even though she's never invited me to any of the girly wedding events. At this point, my husband and I are glued to my phone as we're hearing yelling from all 4 of them until sister-in-law hangs up. Brother-in-law is spending the night at his parents' and is unsure about the wedding now. He plans on going home tomorrow with my husband going with him for moral support. I'll be going with hubby to my in-laws to hang out until we hear back about the situation at the battlefront. Sorry, one more teeny 1 a.m. update. Husband is asleep. I should be too, but I'm still reeling and mad. I thought to take a screenshot of the message she sent my husband for future proof, and it's gone. She used Facebook Messenger to text my husband, and it says her texts are deleted. Now for the full update. So, hi. To preface, I did not expect my post to blow up the way it did. Several commenters mentioned it just popped up in their recommended, and holy jeez, it got way bigger than I could have ever imagined. So, thank you, I think. It's super overwhelming on top of the real-life soap opera I'm living through this weekend. Just to clarify something from the original post, I did not plan everything for the wedding. I offered to bring food for a small luncheon between photos, 10 a.m., and the ceremony, 4 p.m., as dinner wasn't planned until 6 p.m. It was going to be a long day at a farm in the middle of nowhere. I offered to do it to be nice, but also to make sure no one, specifically a certain 4-year-old, would be hangry for the ceremony. Sister-in-law also only used one of my vendor contacts, so with things going south, my professional reputation shouldn't really be impacted. Now the update. Turns out, the no seat for OP issue was the problem that broke brother-in-law's relationship. And we're a bit upset brother-in-law didn't talk to anyone about this until it blew up. Behind the scenes, brother-in-law and sister-in-law were having arguments about their future together. Most of these arguments centered around having kids. Early on, sister-in-law gave the impression that she wanted children someday. But as they got more serious, she started backtracking. A few months ago, brother-in-law realized that it's very likely sister-in-law never wanted kids, but felt too invested in the relationship to leave. But brother-in-law always imagined having a large family, so this really shook him. On top of that, sister-in-law apparently had jealousy and insecurity issues. Per brother-in-law, I've been her latest target, which started when I turned down going to a mani-pedi with her. Why did I turn her down? Husband and son had rotavirus. Apparently, I was icing her out by not wanting to spread gastrointestinal doom. Can anyone please explain this logic to us? Lastly, sister-in-law was apparently already floating the idea of disinviting our son from the reception because he would have been the only small child there. Brother-in-law shut that down immediately, and mother-in-law/father-in-law kept that knowledge from us to spare our feelings. Ergo, our lost RSVP was not a software glitch, nor was it an oversight, but a rather stupidly calculated move. Sister-in-law was apparently hoping one of 2 things would happen. Either I would make a scene about being disinvited and be seen as the problem, or we would quietly accept our fate and she would not have to deal with two undesirables at her reception. With all of this in mind, I can't figure out why she would have messaged my husband instead of me. Was she trying to cause more family drama? Again, the logic is not logicking. Brother-in-law was already feeling some uncertainty because of the shifting kids or no kids conversation, but the deliberate seating stunt gave him the last push and clarity he needed. Brother-in-law told my husband it was a level of manipulation and cruelty that he could not overlook. So he ended things and asked for the ring back. No wedding, no reception, just a super messy, emotionally heavy, and expensive breakup. And I feel so bad for brother-in-law. He's going through so much heartache right now, but he deserves better in a partner. Hopefully, the ex-fiancé can find a family dynamic that doesn't feel like a never-ending battlefield. That's all for now. I'm still tired. I'm still flabbergasted, but I'm also relieved this wedding arc is coming to an end. Your not sister-in-law is an idiot. You'll hear no arguments from us. Children versus choosing to be child-free is one of those things that should be agreed upon well before you get to a wedding stage, and is a deal-breaker if you don't agree. There should never be lies about that. It will only ever lead to heartache. Totally agree with this. My husband and I were always on the same page about having a lot of kids. Unfortunately, life happens, and we'll only have one bio child. But if the universe opens up the opportunity to adopt in the future, we are open to it. Aw, poor brother-in-law. Expensive heartache, but glad he is out before an expensive divorce. He will find somebody for him. Take some rest, y'all. I know he will find someone that will be perfect for him. I'm still annoyed with him, though. He was lamenting being old and alone at dinner. And I was like, honey, you're the baby of the family. Have some more fries and shut up. Next story. Am I the a-hole for putting my pre-marriage house in trust so my children get it if something happens to me? I am 28, female, and recently married. My husband's parents have lots of property, but most of it is in their names and in trusts, so it won't be counted as his marital asset, including the house we live in. And if something happens to their son, it will go to his children only, which is fine. We don't have many joint assets, as we are recently married. I also inherited a house from my grandmother, and it is premarital property. It's in a prime location, and many businesses have offered me a buyout, but I refused. I moved that house into a trust, stating that irrespective of marriage or anything else, my future children will have equal access to that house, and it will be theirs in case something happens to me. I also plan to make it a rental property, considering I get a huge amount per room for wholesale shops that need space to store their materials. The rent will be so high that I won't need to work at all, though I still plan to work and save all the rental income. My husband is not happy and complained to his mom and dad, who tried to question me. I felt it was hypocritical, and I told them I respect and understand their choice of keeping premarital properties in a trust. This is my property, also premarital, so I did the same. They said it's not the same, and that I'm part of the family, and their son's properties would be accessible to me. I called out their BS and said only joint assets, which we will buy post-marriage, will have the same access for both of us. I also want to keep my children safe and secure in case something happens to me. They are angry, and my husband has a puffed-up face, but I refuse to back down. He is sleeping in the other room. Such a man-child. He said it's not the same since it's his parents' properties, but this house is mine and we are partners. I said I will not change the trust conditions. We are sleeping in different rooms now. I feel like an a-hole, but I feel it's fair. Note, in our culture, daughters-in-law are supposed to be provided stability and a safety net, which they didn't offer. So they can't expect me to give away my things to the family too. Now for the comments. The two situations are identical, and you have done nothing that he or they hadn't already done. The thing is, they are clearly approaching this from the point of view that their property is theirs and that your property should be theirs too, if they can get away with it. Given your choice of the phrase, future children, I am interpreting that as you don't have any right now. If that is the case, run. Run while you still can. I agree. The other thing she needs to find out about is what happens if she does rent it out. Does that income become marital assets? Is there a way to keep that separate? I have no idea what the answer is. She's being really smart, not the a-hole. Your husband complains to his parents when he has an issue with you. This will be your life now. Interesting how what his parents do with their assets is fine, but not when you do it. You made a mistake choosing this guy, not the a-hole. I mean, I'd choose him because we were together for a decade. During college, when I had chicken pox and no one came near me, he was the friend who helped me those weeks without worrying, and that made me fall in love with him. So I believe we can solve this. Last story. Am I the a-hole for declining my sister's friend request to use my cabin? My name is Rose. I am 38 years old, and I have just one loving sister, although we live in different cities. I have a small cabin out of town that I inherited from my grandparents 3 years ago. It's about 2 hours from our family house. It's very quiet and has a lake nearby. Nothing really luxurious, but a great place to cool off. I do go there often, and I only allow close friends and family to use it if they ask in advance, as long as they use it neatly and treat it with respect. Earlier this week on Tuesday, I received a message on my Facebook from a woman I've met once. The only thing I know about her is that she's my sister's friend. During the course of our interactions, I then learned that she's a nurse. We chatted briefly at a barbecue last year. That was when I met her. She messaged me saying she had just learned about the cabin and wanted to know if it was available for the weekend. I told her no, that I was planning on going up this weekend myself. Her response was sharp, as if she was offended. Oh wow, okay, I just really needed a break. I've been on a tight working schedule for a week, and you know being a nurse is exhausting. This would have been a perfect reset for me. I figured you'd understand. I said I do understand, and I appreciate her work, but the cabin isn't available this weekend. I was hoping everything would end there, but she flared up. You don't even use it that often, right? I don't get extra money enough to afford places like that. I wouldn't have come to you. I just thought if you weren't selfish, you would offer it as a kindness. I knew where it was all headed. I read and ignored. Later, after some hours had passed, my sister called asking me what happened, saying her friend was really upset and felt like I was being rude and inconsiderate. It turned out that she told my sister I didn't care about her even as a healthcare worker, that I made that fact clear, and that it would have cost me nothing to let her use the cabin for 2 days. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. If your sister is so bothered, she can pay for her friend to stay in an Airbnb somewhere. She admits her friend was being dramatic. Now, if your sister asks to use your place, you are going to have to worry that she's asking for her friend. I'd only let people use it if you are going as a group, and the group consists of people you actually know and like. Exactly. Get cameras ASAP if not already installed. Also programmable door locks so you can change them and not have keys floating out there. Not the a-hole. She's an entitled C-word. Seriously? The fact that my sister actually called me got me really mad too. Then I figured she only needed to hear my side of what happened. She's kind of a people pleaser. If one of my friends called or texted me to say my sister is rude to them, I would call my sister as well, but only to check in and hear her side of the story. And then I have to decide if I need to just tell my friend off, or if I would want to go low or even no contact. My sister would do the same, or my other siblings for that matter. I hope your sister is the same.